Welcome back, friends.
Before we wade into the story, take a breath, gather your thoughts, and share the lessons you carry in the comments below.
While you're there, tap the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another.
Tale that might feel disturbingly familiar.
Have you ever shared a roof, a bed, a lifetime of small routines with someone who treated your presence like background noise, who let you fade until you felt more myth than man? That's exactly where Ethan Carr found himself after devoting 2 decades to a woman who slowly forgot how to see him. Ethan and Rachel first collided in their early 20s, bright with the promise that youth always seems to carry. They were the couple others pointed to at backyard barbecues and whispered relationship goals. He bought a comfortable 2-street outside the city limits, raised 2 curious children, paid down a 30-year mortgage in 19, and hosted holiday dinners where laughter spilled out the front door. Picture perfect, at least from the sidewalk, but inside those freshly painted walls, something delicate frayed one imperceptible thread at a time. There was no scandal, no fiery argument, no single betrayal you could circle with a red pen. Rachel just
Drifted. First, she shortened their conversations. Then she answered questions with distracted nods. Then she scrawled TikTok beside him in bed, her laughter echoing for strangers on a screen, while Ethan stared at the ceiling counting hairline cracks he'd never noticed before. He assumed it was stressed toddler sleep schedules, endless laundry, upward creeping bills. So he stepped up the way a steadfast husband is supposed to. He volunteered for extra cases at the firm when she said money felt tight, folded himself into bedtime stories when she declared she was too exhausted, never guilted her when she whispered
she wasn't in the mood. He gave her space the way you give a sprained ankle time to heal. Weeks slipped into months, months bled into years, and still the warmth never returned. There were no caresses in the kitchen, no lingering kisses at the door, no private jokes over late-night ice cream. He remained faithful, patient, hopeful until patience curdled into quiet grief.
When he finally raised the issue once, twice, third tentative attempt, Rachel offered a weary apology, kissed his cheek like a dutiful sister, and retreated into the glow of another Netflix series.
The erosion of a man like Ethan isn't
loud.
It's not slammed cupboards and shattered plates. It's the hush that settles after you've repeated yourself to an empty room. It's the sound of footsteps that never pause to see if you're following. It's the 1,000 nights he counted actually counted lying centimeters away from the woman he vowed to love while feeling a galaxy apart. So he rebuilt in secret. He signed up for a 5 AM gym class, dusted of friendships he'd
neglected, rediscovered the stubborn thrill of setting small goals and crushing them.
He didn't do it to spite her.
He did it to remember the pulse of his own life.
He grew stronger while her attention shrank, until one sunrise clarity, not anger, filled the vacancy. On a random Tuesday, over quiet coffee and the pleasant hum of the dishwasher, Ethan spoke the words as calmly as ordering a refill. I've consulted a lawyer.
I'm filing for divorce. Rachel's mascara won't froze mid-stroke. Divorce? From where is this coming?
She asked as though the warning lights hadn't been flickering for a decade. She didn't ask why. She asked where, because, in her version of their story, Ethan was a granite monument, weather-beaten, unmovable, permanent. She searched his face for the old softness, found none, and reached to touch his arm. He stayed perfectly still.
Is there someone else? Her voice cracked.
Ethan released a tired, almost sorrowful laugh.
No, that's the tragedy, Rack.
I was entirely yours, and even that wasn't enough. For the first time in years, tears spilled, but they were the tears of lost control, not lost love.
We can fix this, she pleaded.
Ethan gently shook his head.
You don't water a plant that's been dead 10 years.
I begged for sunlight. You drew the curtains. He packed a single duffel, 3 shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, running shoes, a framed photo of his kids, and his reclaimed self-respect. He left the wedding photos on the hallway shelf. They belonged to a past life. Keys on the counter, door closed behind him without a slam.
A furnished Airbnb across town welcomed him with the hollow scent of fresh paint.
He scrambled his own eggs, took long evening walks, bench-pressed the day's weight, and read thick novels he used to shelve for later. Most nights he slept like a stone for the first time in years. Rachel's calls arrived in waves, nostalgic photos, voice notes, promises of therapy. Ethan didn't answer, not out of spite, but because indifference is what remains after grief runs dry. Silence became his peace.
Months passed. Autumn bled gold across the sidewalks when Rachel finally tracked him to a coffee shop.
She sat opposite him, tears quivering on her lashes, and spoke about memories, children, the dream house, the mortgages they'd conquered together. Ethan listened politely.
When she finished, he folded his hands and whispered, "I forgive you, but I don't."
"Want you back." The words landed softly, yet left no room for dispute.
That was the last time they saw each other face to face. Divorce papers slid through the system with a sterile efficiency neither could have imagined back when they toasted 20 years of marriage.
Rachel signed, returned them, and the gavel came down without ceremony.
Now Ethan rents a compact craftsman
Bungalow.
He wakes before dawn, brews dark coffee, runs until the sky pinks, and spends weekends sculpting cedar into bookshelves, pieces of furniture that will never be taken for granted.
He's not angry. He's unburdened.
He took a solo road trip through mountain switchbacks, discovered the quiet pleasure of sunsets without explanation, and these days his phone rests on the nightstand undisturbed, no frantic pings, no muffled giggles for viral dances.
He falls asleep to his own breathing. He doesn't hate Rachel.
In fact, he rarely thinks of her at all. That is the final miracle of peace, a life no longer defined by the person who failed to see you.
He chose himself, and once a person makes
that choice, there is no rewind. No 11th monologue that can resurrect what indifference has buried. Rachel once possessed a good, loyal man. She realized it only when she found herself grasping at the ghost he had become.
Have you ever lingered too long, praying someone would finally look up and recognize the soul standing in front of them?
Tell me your story below. I read every single comment.
And if Ethan's journey struck a chord, share this video with someone who needs the nudge. Hit like and subscribe.
Someone out there is waiting to learn that choosing themselves is not selfish, it's survival.